Really simple little chipping cheat, chipping hack. Look at that view. I'm going to show you here two shots really close to each other. One of them's on an upslope, one of them's on a downslope. Both have the same conundrum to the hole and the beautiful view. Now, a common problem I see with this situation is the uphill slope one, golfers are tending to, or have a tendency to catch it a bit fat, dig that club and just kind of stub it a little bit in front of them, which is infuriating because your approach shot isn't that far off the green. And then when they get on the downhill slope, what I tend to see is golfers getting that thin one that goes over the back of the other green, which is beyond infuriating. So how can you go about playing these two variations of lies and get some kind of consistency to your chipping? Well, let's show you. So let's rewind. The uphill slope, what can we do not to get that kind of jab into the ground where you just flump it in front of you? Really simple way of playing this shot and thinking about this shot is think more of a rounded into our path. Think more of it on the uphill slope, almost like you're going this way to this side, so inside to outside. Because what this will do is it will naturally start to shallow your angle of attack and get it going a little bit with the slope. So simply by changing what path you swing on with the club, and the way I'm doing this is I'm doing my regular setup, but I'm going to feel that I just turn that club back and then push it out a little bit on the way through. So literally like I'm just coming in and out. And what we're going to find with this shot is that slightly shallower feeling gets me working much more up that slope, much more shallow, hardly any interacting with the ground. And you're going to find on that uphill slope it just leads to a much more of a consistent strike. You've got to remember the slope as well is going to give you a little bit of launch, a little bit of height, because you might find these come out a little bit lower, but just by having that slightly more into out feeling of a path gets that club working up that slope with that slope and interacting with that slope in a far more positive way. Now, when it comes to the downhill slope, remember these are literally within a yard of each other, these two balls. Now this one, I'm going to feel like I'm moving down with the slope in my setup, because this is quite an extreme downhill. That was a slight uphill, this is an extreme downhill. But this one, I'm now going to feel like I'm more out to in. I'm going to feel like on the upslope here, if I go out to in, that's going to dig. So this one, I would go more around and up the slope. But then on the downhill slope, I'm reversing that. I'm actually feeling like now I'm going out to in, which moves my attack angle and my interaction with that ground far more in line with the slope that I'm on. Again, bearing in mind, this is going to come out a bit low. I'm going to try and use all the green I can. I'm going to aim up the left and encourage my path to go left and move out to in. Oh, that is such a lovely strike. Ooh. By feeling that different path, so that into out and then in turn that out to in, depending on the slope. Doesn't mean I'm going to play every shot on those slopes that way, but it's my go-to, it's my cheat, it's my, this is a nasty little chip, I want to get the most from it, so I'm actually going to allow the path of my club to help me hit the shot that's needed. That's a view. Now, if you want to find out how I improved my chipping, like fixed it basically, this video's got all the information you're going to need for a nice standard nippy lovely chip.